What if the thing you're searching for is not far away, but hidden in the most ordinary place, right inside your own life? What if the value of something is not determined by how big it looks, but by how deeply it is missed when it's gone? And what if the way God sees you is not based on how you feel about yourself, but on the lengths He is willing to go just to find you? In Luke 15:8-10, Jesus tells a simple story, yet inside it is a truth that can shake the way we understand worth, loss, and love. It is the parable of a woman who loses one small silver coin, and instead of ignoring it or letting it go, she lights a lamp, sweeps the house, and searches carefully until she finds it. When she finally finds it, she calls her friends and neighbors to rejoice with her. On the surface, it sounds like a small domestic moment, but Jesus was never just telling stories about objects. He was revealing how heaven thinks. In ancient times, a silver coin was not just money. It could represent daily survival, security, or even a part of a personal dowry. Losing one coin out of 10 was not just inconvenient, it was unsettling. It created a feeling of incompleteness. Something was missing, and until it was found, the house did not feel whole. The woman in the story does not react casually. She does not say, "It's just one coin, I still have 9. Instead, she responds with urgency. She lights a lamp, even if it is daytime. She sweeps every corner, even the ones that are easily ignored. She searches with intention, because what is lost still matters. This is where the story begins to shift from a simple household event into something much deeper. Jesus is not really talking about a coin. He is talking about people. He is talking about the way heaven responds when something precious is missing. And more importantly, He is talking about you. There are moments in life when people begin to feel like they have lost their value. Not physically lost, but emotionally disconnected, forgotten, overlooked. Like they are still present in the world, but no longer seen with importance. This parable quietly challenges that feeling. The coin does not lose its worth because it is lost. It is still silver. It is still valuable. The only thing that changed is its location. That detail alone carries a powerful message. Your value does not disappear when your circumstances change. Your worth is not erased by distance, failure, or silence. You are not less important just because you feel misplaced. In the story, the woman represents intentional love. She does not wait for the coin to return on its own. She does not assume it will show up later. She actively searches. This reflects something about God's character that is easy to misunderstand. Many people imagine God as distant or indifferent, waiting for people to fix themselves before being noticed again. But this parable presents a different picture. It shows pursuit. It shows effort. It shows attention directed toward what is missing. The lamp she lights represents clarity in darkness. The sweeping represents removing what hides the truth. The searching represents persistence, not giving up halfway. Every movement shows that what is lost is still worth the effort. There is something deeply human in this story as well. Everyone has experienced moments of searching. Searching for meaning, searching for peace, searching for identity. Sometimes even searching for the parts of ourselves we feel we have lost along the way. And in that search, it is easy to believe that being lost means being forgotten. But the parable suggests the opposite. Being lost is exactly what triggers the search. That changes the emotional weight of the story. The coin is not abandoned because it is lost. It is pursued because it is lost. When the woman finally finds the coin, her reaction is not quiet satisfaction. It is celebration. She calls others to rejoice with her. This detail is important because it shows that recovery is not meant to be hidden. Restoration is meant to be shared. In the spiritual meaning of this parable, joy is not only personal, it becomes communal. Heaven rejoices over what is restored. That means your return, your healing, your rediscovery of purpose is not a small event in the eyes of God. It is celebrated. Luke 15:10 concludes by saying there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. But the deeper idea is not only about repentance in the narrow sense, it is about return. It is about restoration. It is about something valuable being found again. This is where the message becomes universal, because everyone, in some way, experiences being lost. Not necessarily in a moral sense, but in an emotional, spiritual, or personal sense. Lost direction, lost confidence, lost connection, lost clarity, and the parable gently reframes that experience. It says being lost is not the end of your story. It is often the beginning of being found. There is also a quiet reminder in the woman's action. She takes responsibility for the search. She does not blame the coin. She does not ignore it. She does not replace it. She searches for it. This is a picture of care that refuses to give up on what matters. Sometimes in life, the most powerful transformation begins when something or someone decides this still matters enough to look for. The act of searching itself becomes an expression of value. Another important detail is the environment of the search. The coin is lost inside the house, not outside in a distant land, but inside a familiar space. That suggests something subtle. What is lost is often closer than we think, hidden in places we already are, overlooked in places we already live. Sometimes clarity does not require going farther. It requires looking differently. The sweeping of the floor becomes symbolic. It represents clearing away distraction, dust, noise, and everything that makes it hard to see what is truly there. In a modern sense, it could represent slowing down, paying attention, and removing what blocks awareness. Because often, what we are looking for is not absent. It is just hidden under the noise of life. When the coin is finally found, the story shifts from effort to joy. The search ends, but the meaning remains. The joy is not just about recovery, but about recognition. Something that was always valuable is seen again. This is where the parable speaks most directly to the human heart. There are parts of life where people forget their own worth, not because it disappears, but because it becomes buried under experience, comparison, or struggle. And then comes the moment of rediscovery, a moment where what was always true becomes visible again. That is what this story is pointing toward. The woman's joy is shared because joy multiplies when it is expressed. She does not keep it private. She invites others into it. This shows that restoration is not meant to end in silence. It is meant to become testimony. And in that sense, every story of being found becomes a reminder for others who are still searching. The parable closes, but its echo continues. It leaves behind a question not asked out loud. What do you believe about your worth when you feel lost? Do you believe you are forgotten, or do you believe you are being searched for? Because this story suggests something radical, that even in moments of silence there is pursuit, even in moments of confusion there is attention, even in moments of feeling unseen there is value that has not changed. The coin does not change, the search continues until it is found. And maybe that is the quiet message at the center of it all. You are not less valuable because you feel lost. You are not less seen because you feel hidden, and you are not beyond being found. The search in this story is not random. It is intentional, it is careful, it is persistent, and it ends in joy. Thank you for watching this video. If this message spoke to your heart, take a moment to like the video, follow the channel, and share it with someone who might need this reminder today.